Hello and welcome to another episode of Que Pasa Hialeah. Hi, my name is Dr. Tony Cruz. I'm the campus president here at the Hialeah campus of Miami-Dade College. And today we have a very special guest with us, Carolina Veira. She's from IMC Health. She is Director of Community and Corporate Partnerships. And not just that, she's had many titles, many different positions. She's a finance executive, but also has a great passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So welcome, Carolina, to Que Pasa Hialeah.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure.
Well, that's great and really great to have you. I'm just going to jump into some of the questions, and my first question is going to be surrounding, I think, an interesting topic for many of our students and our residents in the community, and it's really about different experiences. And just as yourself, I've lived outside of South Florida for several years up north, and which I think was one of the best experiences I've had in my life. And but I know that you yourself, right, lived in Buffalo, New York for several years. You went to college there and got to experience a whole different lifestyle, different place in the country. So I just wanted to ask you, how did those experiences living in Buffalo impact your life and shape your life as it is today?
That's a great question. So obviously, Buffalo, it's totally different from where I was born and raised up to high school. I was born in Ecuador, so it's very warm. There's
Mhm.
certain areas where it's cold, but in Buffalo, it's totally the opposite. 9 months out of the year, it's cold and real cold.
Right.
But I think that the first, if I the one thing that I remember the most
Mhm.
is being one of the only, say, 10 Latinos in camp on campus. It was very different, right? You come from a country like Ecuador where everybody looks like you
Sure.
to a place like Buffalo where you pretty much stand out. You look different. You don't have too much representation. So that I was very aware of that. And that kind of, it's also, I want to say, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, it's a bad feeling, but you are representing uh,
Yes.
your whole community, right? And you feel like you're representing a whole continent for that matter, you know. So there's a lot, I don't want to say pressure that I put on myself, but I always try to excel and try to do the best I could with the resources I had, just because I was representing my whole community. And no matter what you say, no matter what you think, you always feel that way. And if you see any other Latino, you become best friends. No matter what, you don't have to go into deep conversations to know that that's your connection. That's your connection to where you come from and who you are. So that was very interesting. It's something that I was always aware, and there were not many places where you could find, rice and beans and things like that. So it was
Sure.
very interesting experience.
Yes, definitely something that shapes your life and adds to it, right? I think it's a learning experience and adds to it. So I myself think that the experiences I had living in Ohio and Missouri and Illinois have really contributed a lot to my understanding of people and everything else. So yeah, that's definitely a great experience from my point of view, and I can see that you experience great things as well. I know you're a very talented leader and professional that you've worn many hats throughout your career. Um, but we all have something that drives us. Our passion. What is your passion? What is that drives you on a daily basis to do the things that you do?
To me, it's more about community. It's doing everything that I can to build community, to be part of something better than myself. It's those. That's why I love what I'm doing currently. It's not that I didn't like finance. I love finance too. I love that analytical component of things. I like to think into what are the solutions, what's the reasoning behind things. But I also love connecting with people. I also love social impact initiatives that not only help the organization but also help the community. And I know that we can always do more and be more in the alliances that you can form with other people and other organizations are the ones that are going to take you a step farther, right? Your network is going to become your best friend during your professional life, or if you ever need help. I feel like the more we connect, the more we work together,
Hmm.
that allows us to become a stronger community. We know each other, we build relationships, and if we cultivate those relationships, that's when doors open for us. And I love to be able to open doors for others, and I know that that also pays off, right? People are going to open
Sure.
doors. That's how we connect. That's how, working together with you and your
Hmm.
team, that has helped as well, and that's why I'm here today.
Yes, great partnerships. I mean, that's and like you said, building our community, and we can't do it alone. We need these partnerships in order to accomplish it because we all have different strengths, right? And that we bring to the table, and that's why it's important to have these connections, definitely. Um, so tell us a little bit about the Hispanic Star Alliance, and
Love it.
also I know you have your own show, Hablemos. So
Yeah.
like, so I know that you're, like we talked before we started recording, a little while ago, you're a pro at this. So tell us a little bit about both of those things. I think they sound really exciting, and I think that our audience would really like to know more about it.
So it's great that I have the opportunity to talk first of all about Hispanic Star. It's something that I'm extremely happy to be a part of. We need more representation, like I mentioned to you. It's different when you live in Miami or in Hialeah, where everybody looks like you. You're not the minority at all. But
Sure.
you and I, we have experience living outside of Florida, New York, New Jersey, DC. We are the minority, and
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with being a minority. It's about, okay, now we have to get together and become a strong minority. We need to learn about what we bring to the table. We need to know that we represent 70, what represent 60 million here in the US.
Right.
We need to know about our power. I mean, it's $1.7 trillion that we bring to the table. um,
Hmm.
and that information, 77% of Hispanics don't know about our contributions to the US. So the more we talk about it, the more empowered people will feel, the more happy and proud they will feel about their heritage, their culture, where they come from. Our abuelas, our families, our everything that makes us, our stories. I firmly believe that our stories are so powerful,
They
and
are.
that's why we need to share them. And that brings me to Hablemos. Um,
Hmm.
it's my just like yourself. I feel very passionate about it, about connecting with people, but also sharing stories. And with Hablemos, that's what I try to do. Just share stories of powerful, and powerful can mean many things.
Yes.
It's not necessarily, the CEO. It could also be you own your own small business, but you're creating change. You're an agent of change within your family, your community, your country, your city.
Hmm.
Um, and I love to share and showcase those stories because we need to see. We can be what we can see. So we need to see those people doing more, and we need more representation at the government level. We need more
Sure.
representation in organizations, because that's when real change happens, when people think differently, bring different ideas to the table. That's when now we have that diversity of thought that creates policies, procedures, laws that
Hmm.
really impacts us in a positive way. So that's why I do what I do, and that's why I'm part of Hispanic Star. And if anyone wants to be part of Hispanic Star, they can reach out to me, because it's a beautiful group of volunteers who truly believe that we working together we can create real change and open doors for others.
Definitely meaningful work, that has to be done. I think that's the only way we get stronger as a society. Things don't get easier, right? I think as we face more obstacles, we've been through this pandemic now for 17 months, and but that's just one thing, right? But over time, there'll be other obstacles, and the only way we become stronger and overcome these things is by really joining forces, learning more about each other, learning about our strengths, and really taking advantage of those strengths. So great work with that, and I appreciate everything you're doing with those two initiatives. Um, my last question for you is, our students are always looking for tidbits, things that will help them in the future to being successful. We have students of all ages here on our campus. I mean, we have students that are coming to us as dual enrollment students at age 16, but we also have that 58-year-old man or woman that is trying to get upskilled so they can get that next job. So given that gamut of people, right, we're talking about a lot of different kinds of people. What would be your words of wisdom to them? What could you tell them that could help them in their future?
I love that, words of wisdom. If I can share any wisdom, I would say a couple things.
Mhm.
It's funny, but you hear people say, "Oh, what are you passionate about?" That was one of your questions, but truly find what you're passionate about, because
Mhm.
then everything becomes easier. It's more natural, it's more organic. You're gonna get up every morning and be excited
Mhm.
to get to work or to do whatever it is that you do. I mean, it's based on your own experience. You're doing something that you're passionate about, and it shows. Going and knocking and visiting students before or because of the end of the year and before the year starts. I mean, it's meaningful.
Mhm.
You do it because you love what you do. So that shows. I would say just look for that opportunity and understand what you're passionate about, do what you love. And there are always opportunities to do what you love. Maybe that's not your 9 to 5, and I understand it. Sometimes the circumstances don't work, but there's still things that you can do from 6 to 8 and
Mhm.
fulfill that part of you that wants to do more and dream bigger dreams. That would be one of the advices. Another one: take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. Without health, and if there's anything that we've learned after COVID, is that without health we can't do much, right? We
Right.
need to be mentally and emotionally and physically okay to be the best version that we can be. And also to take care of those around us. We need to be healthy. So I'm very adamant about mental health and making sure that either I meditate for 15 minutes every morning or go for a walk,
Mhm.
something that makes me stay active and try to eat the best I can. Because I'm not saying I'm perfect at eating
I
super
don't think
healthy,
none of us are. None of us are, but we try, right? Yeah.
but we try. And I think that's better than not doing anything. And also the last one, now that you mentioned the range of ages,
Mhm.
I would say really spending time and being very intentional about the relationships that you create, that you make along the way, but also cultivating those relationships is important.
Mhm.
Making sure that if you meet someone, follow up with that person, even if it's via email. Hey, maybe invite them for a Zoom meeting and have coffee or something. Try to see what else is out there with those new relationships, and those are business relationships.
Yeah.
If you're part of I don't know, a group at school, just make sure that there's that constant reinforcement, because those relationships, the relationships that you create, that network, the one that I was
Mhm.
talking about earlier, those are
Right.
the ones that are going to support you and that are going to open doors for you. And you don't know, maybe that person will be your next boss, right? So you
Yes.
have to make sure that you cultivate those relationships and you show your best self. And so I would say that those are the three components of my words of wisdom.
Your words of
So
wisdom. Well, those are really wonderful words of wisdom, and we really appreciate them. And I hope those resonate with our viewers because they should, and they should resonate with everybody because they are very important components. Um, Carolina, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. I really appreciate your all the work that you do in the community, and as you
you
engage different
as
parts of
well.
our community, continue your work with diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's an important piece of what you're doing, and I think we need this in our community and in our country. So I really appreciate everything you do, and thank you for joining me here today. And I want to thank you all for joining us for this conversation today on Que Pasa Hialeah. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.